I've asked my doctors about it. I don't know.
Did you show them the video?
Yes. I asked my chiropractor, and they say it's like a hip thing.
Oh, is it a hip thing?
I think because as a girl, like you put a lot of weight in your hips. It's like I've got really tight hips, maybe, and it's like once your hip gives out, it's like connected to your IT band, and then like goes all the way down. But I guess I have good knees because
You have to.
I mean, it happens all the time.
On today's episode of the Grab Matters podcast, we welcome on a very special guest, Rivers Hedrick. Rivers might be best known for having every single announcer I think I've ever heard get her name wrong at least once. In all seriousness, she did come off a stellar year in wakeboarding. She put out a bunch of great content. She also did extremely well competitively, winning a bunch of contests. She's always either at or near the top of the podium. So we're diving into contest wakeboarding, as well as, the video content side of things, which she does a lot of. Rivers is definitely one of the younger guests we've had on the show, and it's very interesting to see how her perspective and path towards wakeboarding is different than some of the old heads we have on. It's pretty cool to see her journey and how she, got started and got inspired by some of the legends coming through Terminus Wake Park where she grew up, like Meagan, Ethell, and a bunch of big heavy-hitting female names. If you're a cable rider in America and you want to hit all the big contests, you definitely have to travel a lot. And we talk with Rivers about how travel is a little bit different for her as a girl versus some of the guys, and how she's kind of navigated that over the past few years. We're also talking contests, her mindset, kind of what goes into a contest day of, what she's looking at on the setup, all that stuff. As always, I want to give a huge thank you to all the Patreon supporters. Your guys' support is literally what keeps this podcast going. So I want to give a huge thank you to everybody on that Patreon. Your guys' questions that come in are always good, and we really love asking them on the show. So if you guys are interested in supporting the podcast, joining the Patreon is the best way to do that. So thank you to everybody on there. Without further ado, let's get into this episode of the Grab Matters podcast.
I approve waterboarding. They're talking about wakeboarding. The thing about wakeboarding, every trick is an invert.
Backside.
One-side air railings.
A new dimension.
We're back. Another episode of the Grab Matters podcast. Today we welcome on a very special guest. And I'm going to get your name wrong like every other commentator ever has gotten your name wrong.
Every time.
Rivers Hedrick is your name.
Yeah.
I feel like you always I hear a lot of Hendrick.
A lot of Jimi Hendrix.
A lot of Hedricks. And I feel like I don't know if they get Rivers wrong or not, but
no, everyone just says River. Like they forget
Singular.
the S all the time.
Okay.
Which I get because I don't know another person named Rivers. I know a couple River, like
Single.
but seem to single, but I'm plural.
Interesting.
All the Rivers.
I actually grew up with a friend named Rivers. Lived on my
Really?
street, had red hair too. Yeah, crazy story, huh?
Oh, those. I'm actually kind of strawberry blonde, and everyone makes fun of me for it. But
Yeah?
yeah,
Yeah, being anything redhead related is a rough life, I'll tell you that. But don't have a soul to weigh me down, so that's good.
yeah. No, a lot of Hedrick, Hendrix.
So do you just take it in stride when someone says Hedricks or whatever? You're just like,
I'm just like, oh, come on. My grandpa, he'll watch the live streams, and he's like, they get your name wrong every damn time. And I'm like, sorry, Grandpa.
there's nothing I can do about it. It's spelled right there for
I
him.
know. He's like, it's Hedrick.
All right, so we'll get into some contests and stuff later, but let's first two. Favorite grab, easy one.
Favorite grab.
Yep.
I do stale and melon a lot, like
Okay.
just backhand.
That
Poke
section
it.
of the
I
board.
love, like you can make them look good too. But I think my favorite, I don't know, just the fun one is that one-handed method.
Oh, like through the rope?
Through the handle.
Yeah. Right through the
That
handle.
one's so fun.
Okay.
I'm not going to talk about the Valdosta grab matters contest.
No, I say we do talk about the Valdosta Grab Matters grab contest because what happened there?
Didn't assess the situation.
Yeah, okay.
You live and you learn.
Yeah.
You win some, you learn some.
For the listeners, there was a grab contest at Valdosta, the yard sale this last year, and I don't think there was contact with the board from Rivers Hedrick.
Just FYI, they said you get bonus points if you hit the kicker off the dock. And if you've never been to Valdosta, hitting the right kicker off the dock is quite a mission. And so when you barely make it to the kicker, with the handle through your arm, it's not a good.
Yeah. Well, you live and you learn on that one.
You live
Next
and you
grab
learn.
contest, I think you'll be locked in.
I'll take a lap next time.
There you go. Wake pants. What do you think? What do you think about wake pants?
Wake pants. Like I said, I'm more of a you do you kind of person. I don't really wear them myself. A lot of people rock them well. Like I couldn't picture Tobias Mitchell without the full kit on.
True.
So Yeah, you do you on that one. I think I've worn one time, but that was just because I was hanging out with Cooper Scarborough too much. And he made me go to Goodwill and get some.
It does seem kind of like a dude thing, not as much as a chick thing. I don't know. Maybe not.
I mean, Cena rocks them.
True.
Campbell wears them a lot. There's a lot of girls. Anna Fryer, I think, wears them.
Definitely
a good bit.
rocks them.
She rips.
Yeah. She's super good.
So sick. She's been my favorite.
I feel like she's
for a
on that
long time.
underrated list too of people need to know.
And she's always injured. She's had some knee issues, but I think she's been in the gym and now she's the strongest girl in Germany.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a big season coming up hopefully for Anna.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask.
Oh boy.
Are you keeping track of all of our first two the wake pants yes or no?
I do have everything, yes.
Because I think it'd be fun if you end the debate on Instagram at some point.
That'd be a good idea. Did Meagan Ethell tell you to say that?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No, just post the response or something.
The numbers?
Post the numbers, this amount of yes, this amount of no.
Maybe at 100. At 100,
amount
I'll
of
do
maybe. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Just because I'm curious, what's the ratio?
Yeah.
What are we looking like?
There's a lot of people that said what you just said, though, which is a you do you. Nobody's given a hard stance.
That could just be a maybe column.
Like a toe in the line.
Or just that column could just be this debate is dumb.
Fair enough. I think at episode 100, I'll just tally everything up and it'll be settled.
Cool.
And we'll move on to the next.
Settled once and for all.
Mediocre, lukewarm topic in wakeboarding.
Good.
So what are you doing down here in Orlando?
Chasing the warm weather, except now it's cold. So
yeah, for the listeners, it's 50 degrees out right now.
Yeah. Fahrenheit. Living the dream.
Where are you staying?
Staying with Meagan and Gunther, the Okas, freshly wedded couple, and Smokey, and their roommate Jordan. Shout out Jordan if you're watching this.
Oh, so there's 4 of you there, plus the cat, or cats?
Cat.
One cat.
Cat.
Okay. Single cat.
She attacked me this morning.
Crazy cat.
Great. Yeah. She's definitely a big personality.
Interesting way to put a description for a cat. I saw a climate tree the other day, so.
Yeah.
I don't know if cats do that.
The house is her jungle.
Okay. That's a good way to put it. That kind of explains the personality of a cat. So I guess why are you in Orlando as opposed to, I feel like a lot of riders either don't ride that much in the off season or they're they do the WTC Wake Park thing, some kind of doing the CWC thing, but you're doing the Orlando thing. Why is that?
Yeah. Instead of a 20-hour flight to Thailand, I drive 7 hours south and stay in Orlando. It's cold at home. Terminus closes in mid-November, and we don't open back up till end of March. And so not wakeboarding for 5 months is rough.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, all the above. Don't like it. So I come to where it's a little bit warmer and try to ride as much as I can. Which this is only the 3rd year I've done that. Because of school.
So, yeah, okay, I want to talk about school because you're 18, 19?
I just turned 18 in August.
Okay. So what were you doing for school then?
So I did the normal American kid school from, whatever till all the way up until junior year. I played soccer, varsity soccer, loved soccer, really, really loved soccer. And I think eventually, I've always been wakeboarding, but soccer was kind of my off-season thing. So that was what I did in the wintertime, school season. I've always considered club, but never did club because that was wakeboard time. So then I guess end of sophomore year, I just decided to do online. I started traveling more for wakeboarding and then did online school. And then that following winter, it's well, now I have a whole winter of no school, no soccer. Now I can wakeboard. So then convinced my parents to let me drive down to Orlando when I was 16. Stayed there with Meagan for a couple weeks. I think we have taken, I don't know, I could explain a lot, but my dad took me down to Orlando to the boarding school way back when I was younger. We did, I don't know, a few day trips for school breaks or whenever I could. We would come down to Orlando. So yeah, eventually when I was old enough to come down by myself, started doing that online school. And then now is my 3rd year kind of being here in the winter.
Interesting.
But longer than I usually am down here.
So how does that work out with Meagan? Because I feel like a lot of people would like to do, you live somewhere in the winter, do you just reach
Yeah.
out and be like, hey, Meagan, like, can I stay with you for a while?
Well, I think originally it was like my dad, this is before I could drive, but we'd maybe come down to Valdosta for a couple days. And then, I don't know, I just like started meeting her at events, and then eventually we became good friends. And it was just kind of like a slow, like gradual kind of process of staying with her more and more. And like, I mean, I need to ride, so I'm like, hey, Meg. And so I rent a room now. I rent a room at their house.
Yeah.
And so I stay there. I'm here until it gets warm enough back home. But yeah, it was pretty gradual. Like my dad took me down to ride a boat set with them one time. We were staying at Valdosta, drove down for the day, and then came back. And then I guess the conversation just kind of came up slowly, and they were super open to letting me stay, which was so sick. And like, I appreciate it. I know my parents really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things of like whoever it is, but Meagan specifically, of just you're a girl trying to come up in wakeboarding, and she's obviously very established.
And she did the same thing when she was younger too, and so did Gunther. So like they've been in my shoes, and they totally like get what I'm trying to do and why I want to ride down here and why I want to stay. So that's super cool. They're like totally willing to pour into what I'm trying to do as well. So yeah, they're awesome. They're really, really cool people.
Yeah, they're badass. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's do early days, because you're from Atlanta, right? Or Atlanta area? Yeah,
north of Atlanta, Marietta. I think Cole Vantoff actually grew up like really close to where I live.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So getting into wakeboarding though, was it first behind the boat, or was it straight up Terminus?
So it was first behind the boat. My grandparents have a lake house. Parents got married there. And then 2 years later, I was born. Pretty much was on the water, like, since the day I was born. I know my mom says that, like, my dad took me out on the boat when I was, like, 2 weeks old. My mom was freaking out, like, wasn't having it.
That's a young kid on the boat.
just like, you know, life fessed up in the lab on the pontoon boat. Grandpa was probably driving the boat, and it's Smith Lake, Alabama. It's where Kane Ward rides, actually. And yeah, just spent the summers there. I'm the second youngest of 7 cousins. So all the older cousins did all the things, kneeboarded, wakeboarded, uncles skied. My aunt, like, was a 3-event skier. And, yeah, just kind of when I was old enough, I guess, like 5 or 6, they threw me on a wakeboard or a whatever kneeboard. It was, I actually have a picture. There was this like hyperlight surfboard that floated.
Pretty sure I have this, so I'll put it in.
Probably. Hyperlight surfboard that like floated to my uncle's dock after a storm. And that was kind of our first like, what is this? Like, let's play with it. So I think I was sitting on my knees, or maybe I was standing on it when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And then just kind of grew up going to the lake in the summers, wakeboarded. My uncle had a boat, and then eventually my dad got like this 1980 Mastercraft Stars and Stripes.
Sick.
From Maine.
Sick.
And he loves the water. He loves the lake, and my mom too, but like my dad just wants to be on the water all the time.
So is he like a water skier or wakeboarder, or does he just love being on a boat?
He just loves, like, he loves being outdoors. He hiked the AT, Appalachian Trail, for anyone that doesn't know.
Sick.
And he loves being outside, loves to camp. Yeah, he's awesome. He just really kind of, I don't know, just kind of pushed us all into that. Yeah. I mean, not pushed us, but like provided it kind of.
Showed it to you.
Like, yeah, just showed it to us. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you start wakeboarding behind that Stars and Stripes, or like does it just kind of keep slowly progressing throughout the summer? But never like
so like we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like absolutely, I mean nobody does. We have absolutely no idea what we're doing. I think my dad's good friend Scott, and they live across the lake, was actually college roommates with Travis Moy.
A whole lot of connections going on.
Small world.
Yeah.
Small world. And I think they went to Alabama. I think it was Alabama. And so he had some knowledge of kind of what this wakeboard thing was. His roommate skied, Travis, and kind of helped guide us. I mean, with little knowledge he had provided to what little knowledge we had.
Yeah.
Just kind of showed us the ropes a little bit, literally. And then I guess I started like jumping the wake. I don't know. I remember thinking that you had to jump the inside out. So you would like rip across and then jump the
Did you use
inside
it as
out.
a ramp to go
Yeah.
out?
Yeah. And so, yeah, that was kind of, I don't know. And then eventually my dad got a Nautique 230 because I started doing it more. And this is when I'm, okay. And then Terminus. Okay. So Terminus opens 2014. And my parents got this Groupon, which is like a coupon for Terminus. And we're like, oh, this is awesome. Like Rivers can go wakeboard at Terminus. She knows how to do it behind the boat. This will be great. Take me to Terminus. My first day was July 16th, 2014.
Wow, you know the date.
I know the date. Well, it's in my phone. It's a picture. And so you can see the timestamp. And takes me to Terminus. I think I get up on the 2.0 maybe and just like get smoked on the beginner, like slam after slam.
Off the dock?
Off the dock. There's so many videos. I need to send them to you because they're hilarious.
I'll put them in.
I mean, maybe my dad sent them, but like they're
He
so
did send
funny.
some stuff,
And I'm
yeah.
just like this little tiny like 7-year-old. I was sitting on the bench and my feet can't, like my board doesn't reach the water. There's still like, you know, like you're sitting on the bench and there's still like a foot off the water. So as soon as that rope clicks through, it's just like, wham. Just time after time. Maybe I get up once, can't edge, there's no edge control, just get smoked around that first 90-degree corner on our 4-carrier beginner lake at Terminus. But yeah, I'm just kind of ripping the 2.0, I think. And all the staff there was so sick. I remember this one guy, his name was also Scott, I think. He's not there anymore, but my time was expired. I had a 2-hour pass, time was expired, and he like saw me struggling, but like saw me like really motivated and just like loving it and bummed that my time was expired. So he like gave me another hour on the 2.0, just private, like ripping me back and forth.
Sick.
And like, that's just what's so cool about Terminus is Chase is like really poured into those people to make, like, that's what's important is like getting all these kids stoked so that they can stick around and be there for as long as they want to. But
All right. Speaking of Chase, we got a guest question from Chase Andrews.
oh man.
What's up, Rivers? Hey, hope the podcast is going great and hope that you haven't had to chug some milk yet. Maybe that's coming. I don't know.
It's
but,
not.
Hope you're having a wonderful time with Hunter. Man, super proud of you, and I'm excited to hear this podcast when it comes out. Had a few questions for you. First one is, since some parks have been around for a good bit now, some kids have started to have grown up at wakeboard parks. But for you, starting at Terminus when you were 8 years old, what was it like getting to have a wakeboard park in your backyard and getting to grow up there as one of the locals? I didn't get to experience that, so I'd love to hear your take on what it was like coming up, seeing people come in, come out, and all that kind of stuff, and you continuing to stay there and push forward on this thing. So love to hear that. Two, to piggyback on that, what was it like being one of the young female riders? I know that Terminus has always had a great culture of female riders at the park with Marilyn and McKenna and all these amazing, great riders that grew up there. But by having the big events, we always had the top female pros come through as well. So what was it like having those girls come through and guys for yourself, inspiration-wise? What did that do for you as far as growing yourself and maybe you realizing that this is something that you did want to pursue and did want to go after? I'd just love to hear your thoughts on what that looked like growing up as a female at the park at Terminus. And then two, what do you think parks can do better to get more female riders into the sport? I know we try a lot of stuff ourselves with a bunch of girls' rides and different stuff, but and even speaking to us, what can we do better to really push the female riders into sport? Because I love that. Three, I'd love to hear what your 2 or 3 biggest memories in your wakeboarding career are so far. You've done a lot of stuff, traveled a ton of places, so I'd love to hear your top 3 experiences, top 3 memories, takeaways so far. Another one, what does it feel like to have everyone mispronounce your name?
We covered that one.
Rivers Hendricks. What is it? How do we actually say your name? The people need to know.
Don't worry, Chase.
And then last two, I was curious, did you ever figure out how to open a champagne bottle? So fill us on that. And then been hearing some rumors, just was curious. Do you have like a low-key crush on Gavin Stuckey? All right, that's all.
What a sewer at the end there.
Excited for you, proud of you, girl. Hunter, thanks for letting me ask some questions. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Oh man, those are quite the.
I wrote them all down, so we
Okay,
can
I
kind of
can't
hit
even
them one
remember
by
where we were.
Yeah, there's like 6 questions in there. So first one is like having all the top athletes come through and growing up at Terminus. Like, what's that impact like?
Yeah, that's so cool. I remember now, like, okay, we had Park Pro. Okay, oh, I forgot to mention too, the Monster Energy Triple Crown was that kind of fall summer that I started at Terminus. And I remember going with my dad and my sister. That was so cool.
Yeah.
And just like we have no idea what we're watching, but they're doing these tricks off the water, like without a ramp, and they're going huge off the kicker. Like, it's so cool. And I like brought my iPad and like filmed everybody. And so I have a video of like Jamie Lapina doing a front throw off the kicker and like a Rayleigh. And then I think Aaron Gunn was also there. Yeah. So cool. Just getting to see that, and it's like, that's what I want to do, you know, and just kind of that realization, or, I mean, maybe it wasn't even a realization at the time, but just kind of like, that is super cool.
It's super inspiring, yeah, and like Triple Crown was a big deal. Like, I wasn't there, but the videos of it, man, it was a big event. It was, if you're a kid, it's like, dang, this is like.
And now the LF pros were there, and I was first in line to get my board signed by Tom, Shane, Daniel Grant, Sean Watson, and guy, I can't remember, but yeah, like now it's like full circle moment, because like now I ride for Tom, and like he signed my 111 looking for a star when I was 7 years old.
111, that's
got it from Ambush. Yeah, stoked.
Okay, so I guess into the next one is, you know, what can parks do better to get more female riders? And I think it's interesting to hear from like girls' perspectives on that.
Yeah. That's hard, I think. I mean, it's something that happens naturally for sure. Because I just so happen to be a 7-year-old girl that stumbled into a park and fell in love with it. Like, you can't really force it, I don't think, because the people that are riding there have to love it. And if they don't love it, like, what are they even doing there? So it's not like it definitely helps to have existing female riders there, showing that it's like possible. Like, of course, everybody can do this, you know. I don't know. I mean, now with social media, it makes everything easier. You can post videos of all demographics of people, young, old, female, male, like everybody riding, and showing that it's not just for those like teenage boys. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think probably having like the pro female athletes come through is like, if I was a little kid.
And having those girls rides is so important. Like, we've done a lot there with Anna and Meagan, and those have been super cool. And that's like, that was so inspiring to me as a young girl riding at Terminus. Like, I remember too at the Park Pro, Gunther was there. And I remember asking Gunther, this was 2018, I think. I was maybe 12 years old or something, or maybe older than that. I don't know. But I remember asking Gunther, like, where's Meagan? And she had a shoulder injury or something, but she wasn't there. But like, that Park Pro is I rode in pro women because that was the only category, but I was not. Like, Shannon Stuckey still beat me by like 4 points. But it was just so cool getting to see all these pro women there, and Courtney Angus was there, Ann Schreiber, and
Dang, yeah, I forgot about Ann.
Squad. But that was super cool.
So he mentioned biggest memories in your career, but I think we can kind of hit on that later because there's a lot to go through contest-wise and stuff like that, unless there's something that jumps out that you want to talk about right now. But I feel like
biggest moments in my career so far?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, so many, like last year was so sick, and winning MASH was huge. Like, that was my 3rd year at MASH. I was there the first year as, like, they had did this rookie thing. Second year, I got 3rd, and then won it last year. And that was just, like, such a sick, like, so many people there. It's on Rebel TV, just a very big stage. That was cool. I guess, I mean, just getting to travel and see all these things that most 17-year-olds don't get to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just kind of looking back and seeing everything that I've done so far is pretty cool, just to think where I was, 10 years ago, like, wanting to do all this stuff, and, like, now I'm here, and that's probably...
Yeah, still at a young age, though. Like, it's still making it happen, which is crazy. So, champagne bottle, what's the deal?
I don't know. I mean, when you're 14 years old trying to figure out how to open a champagne bottle at LEO for the first time, it's not, it's like I look over at Steve Anderson. I'm like, how do I open this thing? And they're all like, twist it open and then pop it. I'm like, what?
What do you mean? I've never done this before.
Never done this before. I can't say my parents showed me that one too early.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. That's one you got to figure out on your own.
Just cross the bridge when you come to it.
Yeah, and then the sewer at the end there, he wants to know.
Oh, my God.
That's a savage comment thrown in by
interesting.
Chase.
I mean, I don't know. We're both doing the same thing. Like, what do you...
We'll move on from that.
It's more like a deal with Gavin.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah. That's just a deal with Gavin, like we all do. That's fair.
Oh, my God.
All right, so your mom and I did kind of text back and forth a little bit, and she had some kind of, she didn't send a voice question or anything, but she had some career moments that I think are interesting to touch on that were earlier on. So in 2021, you were invited to Wake the City Milan to be on Anna's team, right?
So it's partners, yeah. Anna invited me.
And did you initially say no, and then?
So that's when I was still in school.
Okay.
She actually sent me these questions. She was like, "Is it okay if I ask these?" And I'll circle back to this, but yeah. Anna messaged me on Instagram. This is I've known her for a year, I guess. There was like Worlds at Valdosta one time and met her for the first time. And she was so awesome, man. She like really, really, really pushed all the girls. And that's another example of how to get more girls in the sport. Like Anna was so sick. And she invited me to go to Wake the City, which that was would have been my first international trip. Never been out of the United States before. I was still in school. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't think I can do it. I'm still in school. Like, there's no way there's no way I can fly to Italy. I'm just like, I want to do it, but I'm like, just thinking like, there's no way this can happen. I'm still 14. Like, I'm so young. And I have like a test next week. Like I can't skip a week and a half of school to go to Italy. And I come downstairs and I'm like, Mom, like, Anna just asked me if I want to go to Milan. And she's like, what? She's like, I'm like, yeah, there's this Red Bull event and it's like in the city and I don't know if it's gonna work. And she's like, of course it's gonna work. And like my mom makes stuff happen.
That's so sick.
Oh my goodness, I wish I was like her. Like she is a really good planner. Sometimes it drives me nuts because she'll ask so many questions like, okay, when, where, how,
I need
what.
some of that in my life.
I'm like, I'm trying to take a page out of her book. Like she was like, it's okay. We'll call the school. We'll figure it out. But you were doing this. Like, I'm like, really? Like what? And yeah, she made it happen. Booked the flights, told Anna yes after almost saying no. And yeah, I went to Milan, and that was like the coolest trip ever. Just, super cool. And then unfortunately,
Anna got smoked, didn't she?
Anna broke her back.
Yeah.
We won the qualifying round, even with her broken back. So shout out, we killed it.
Put the team on her back, literally.
Yeah, and it was so unfortunate. Just like crazy situation, just somehow clipped and like fell and hit her back on like the spine of the this little popper thing. And she's so tough. She got up right away and was like, I think I'm fine, but I'm like, no, you're not fine, and had to help her out of her. Yeah, it was rough, and the flight home was pretty crazy. That was wild. I was like, is this what pro wakeboarding is actually like?
What am I getting myself into?
It kind of scarred me for my first actual pro event. Kind of scarred me a little bit, but we're still here. All
right, so I want to kind of touch on international events and stuff like that, because that was your first one. I mean, kind of went well, kind of didn't go that well, but as a whole, traveling to contests, what's your approach to that? Because I feel like I've seen people, fly in a couple days before, or even like a day or two before, and try to get used to the setup.
Yeah.
Like ideally, what's it looking like for you to go to a contest?
Yeah, it's definitely changed a lot over the years. At first, it was like, going to nationals when I was younger, it was like, we got to get there 2 weeks before so I can practice. And now it's like, okay, how can we make this trip as short as possible?
Yeah.
So, just the more practice you get, the better you are with adapting quicker. You watch Trent and Gavin now touch a setup for 5 minutes and they've got their contest run it's pretty insane to watch. And so, yeah, that's just over time, something that takes less time to figure out. So now it's, I mean, say nationals this year, I'll probably go maybe like 2 days before, and there's usually that pro practice. Maybe the pros get like an hour each day, like of private ride time. So at least there's that. So, I mean, not crazy anymore, but definitely when I was starting, it was like a week before or something. And two, if it's international, it's like you got to get used to the jet lag. Now I've flown so much, like jet lag isn't too bad anymore. So it's definitely decreased over time.
Yeah, which is good, I'm imagining for you. But okay, so does it change if you're going to like a new cable, completely new cable you've ever ridden at, or a cable you've been to? Like, because Langenfeld is a wild cable. Like, it's basically like you're winching in the middle. Like, the pole is so low.
Oh, man.
I love it.
Especially
it's sick.
with the floods last year. Like, you felt like you could reach up and touch the,
Yeah, and so if you hadn't ridden that cable before, for me, I'm obviously not a pro athlete, but it's going to take me a while to get used to a new cable that's that different.
Well, and the lines, and there's so many people, and the weather, like, you don't ever know if it's going to be. I mean, last year it was sleeting, and Gunther Oka was the only one riding Grom.com over there.
Well, that just shows he's built different.
Oh, he is built different.
Yeah, I mean, so would it, like, if, let's say, hypothetically, a cable contest comes up at a cable you've never been to, and it looks like it's going to have a different pole, are you going to be like, oh, I'm going to get there, like, maybe an extra day or two just in case, or is it not really going to change?
If it's unit rails that I've probably ridden before, I mean, that's also good to, like, like if I see the setup and I'm like, okay, I've hit all these rails before, like, I should be fine.
Yeah.
Or it's similar. Or I can, look at the setup, take a look at what we have at Terminus. It's like, okay, what's most similar? What can I practice? Just to even make my trip even shorter. It's almost better to practice, like, have quality practice at home than, like, go and struggle at another park, I think. I don't know, because, like, maybe you could spend an extra day on, like, a trick you've been working on. Or so, I don't know. That's super specific. But, yeah, I mean, maybe if it's, like, a brand new cable I've never been to, maybe I'll get an extra day.
Yeah.
But that's not, I mean, I'm not, like, stressing.
Yeah, you're not
really
thinking about that much.
Yeah.
One more thing on this before we move on, because you've won a lot of contests so far, and I think it's interesting as someone who doesn't really ride contests. But so, like, are you looking at the setup ahead of time, and then you're taking that and being like, okay, these are the tricks I can do on all these different rails, kicker, whatever.
Absolutely.
And then you do it at home. Obviously, it's not gonna be the same, but like the same tricks, and then you can bring them.
Yeah, I try as much as you can. You know, this happens with every single contest, every single time. You look at the setup, you're like, okay, this is the run I'm going to do. You never do that run. Ever.
Yeah.
Maybe one thing is similar. If one thing is similar, that's like a big accomplishment. Like, heck yeah. But most of the time, it's never the run, because it is always like, it always feels different. The tension's different, the features are different, the rope length is different, everything's different, and it changes everything.
Yeah.
So as much as I can prepare before it all, I think it's just more of a mental thing, honestly. Just like knowing that if I did it here, I can probably do it there. But honestly, I don't know if it helps riding wise. I mean, more time in the water is better always. But
do you think it helps or hurts to break your fingers before a contest?
Definitely hurts.
Hurts physically or hurts you in the contest?
All of it. I don't know why, but like the only issues I've ever had is with my freaking fingers, bro.
And that's literally like some of the worst stuff you could have because you're holding on to the handle.
It's so lame. It's like I'm like missing out of a contest because my arm's in a sling because I broke my finger, because apparently you have to hold it high so that the blood doesn't get caught.
Okay, so at LAO this year, what happened to what happened?
Oh yeah, this year I like jammed. I just jammed it on the. I don't know. Oh, is this one? Sorry, there's so many. I just like went up on this transfer. There was this, I think it was a Henshaw rail. Was it Henshaw?
Yeah, at the very beginning left. Yeah, like right off the dock, basically.
Yeah, pouring rain, like can't see. You're like throwing up the windshield wipers, not working. Can't really see. I just go up and try to just like switch front, like cab 2 to the top, and I think I like clipped this little add-on rail and just like fall and like jam my finger. And then I slam my tailbone into the corner of the rail. So, like, my tailbone's bruised, and I've got a jam finger. And I'm like, great, the day before the event. Like,
It's also really cold out, so like.
Yeah, it's 50 degrees. It's raining. This is going great so far. And I just I take an hour or so off. Like I go to the nurse person, and they like wrap it and give me some. I take some Advil. Just kind of wait it out for a little bit. Stops raining. Go out and practice for my practice time. And or no, I think I actually hit my tailbone later in the day. Yeah, that was like my last lap before like I was calling it quits. Yeah, but anyways, classic. I like had a bruised finger, jammed finger, and bruised tailbone, and then the next day I was just like, okay, whatever. Like all I have to do is a couple laps, hopefully do well.
And you did end up winning, but for clarity, I did bet against you after I saw your fingers were wrapped. You were gonna be. I was like, I think Rivers is gonna win, and then. You basically came out of the medical tent with your fingers wrapped. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I got to go Campbell. And then I placed a bet on Campbell, and I lost.
Well, sorry. Sorry, dog. Sorry to put you down on that one. How much did you lose?
$100.
Oh, my goodness.
But it was euros. So, like, it doesn't really count,
like
right?
$60 US?
I don't even know what the conversion is.
I don't know. I got to get back into that.
2 pouches of cigs or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of LAO, though, why do you think LAO means so much to cable riders? Because the purse isn't like a massive purse. It's never really great weather, but it's always kind of the first contest of the year, and it's huge. Like, it's big. So why does it mean so much to riders?
The Germans are hyped. And also, that place pretty much invented wakeboarding, or cable wakeboarding. So I think, one, it's like a place of history. It's been there for, 40, 50 years?
Long time.
Like, everything is the unit headquarters is like 30 minutes away in Cologne, Germany, so it's definitely like a bit of a landmark, if you will, for wakeboarding, for cable wakeboarding. And it's also quite the reunion for everybody. It's like first event of the year. You haven't seen most everybody in 6 months or so. So like everyone's hyped really just to see each other. It is cold, which sucks, but it's fine. We deal. We got wetsuits. And it's pretty prestigious too. All the sponsors follow Liquid Force, Unit, Nissan, Europe too, which is huge. There's always a lot of content that comes out of LAO too. Shout out Stefan Valaire. He's so sick. And then Lemonade Normal does a lot. Yeah, it's super cool. And the setup's just
I was going to say the setup is always...
I was getting there,
cool.
Sorry, I almost forgot about it. But yeah, the setup's just crazy. I mean, they landscape it, dude. They put plants.
There's flowers out.
There's flowers out there. So insane. It's always, like I said, I try to practice, find similar lines, but like it's always something you've never hit before.
Yeah. And there's always, I feel like, at least one or two
so
big
gnarly
things there. Yeah.
So gnarly.
Like Claudia broke off on that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you call it.
They put the pool backwards 2 years ago, which has never really been done for a contest, I don't think. So crazy.
Yeah, good live stream, good format too.
Good live stream. It great format. 6 hits, 6 tricks, 1 air trick or rail. Yeah. So
great spectating, man.
Great really spectating. Lots of beer.
Lots of beer. Lots of hand rolled
Lots of pretzels.
If you're in that, lots of pretzels, coffee. Lots of coffee.
Coffee's good.
Yeah,
gotta love LAO.
I think you hit on everything there. That was great. Yeah, I couldn't speak any more highly of LAO. I think if you ever get the opportunity. So cool.
That's always one of my favorite events every time.
Yeah, I didn't really realize the kind of the reunion aspect, but that makes sense because this is the first big thing of the year, so everybody's getting back together. Yeah. So, all right, I think it's time we spin the LF'n Wheel of Questions presented by Liquid Force.
Man!
So go ahead and grab that down.
The LF'n Wheel of Questions.
Okay, let's go.
Liquid Force likes to make wakeboarding fun, so let's make this... Tom Fouché did it, no problem.
Oh, God.
Let's make this podcast a little bit more fun by spinning the LF'n Wheel of Questions. I think... I don't remember. I think it was on one of these things when Ollie did it, so he just kind of reached over and grabbed it. It was no big deal. But, yeah, make sure to check out the new 2025 Liquid Force gear. It's out now. There's all sorts of good shit out there right now.
Man, Instagram was popping the other day with all the 2025 stuff.
Yeah, it was a coordinated attack on Instagram by Liquid Force.
Coordinated attack, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, give this a spin here.
All right, I got an ideal cable speed. Okay. I'm going to give it a... Will it fall?
We'll find out. It hasn't broken yet.
Okay.
It's made it all the way.
Trick trivia?
Oh, trick trivia. Here we go.
Oh, God. I feel like this is not going to go well.
So, who was the first one to land the Mexican roll?
Oh, dude, I have no idea. Are you serious? The Mexican roll?
Yep.
Okay, why would they call it the Mexican roll?
It's a girl.
Is it?
It is.
Dallas Friday?
Nope.
I don't know.
Before Dallas's time.
Before Dallas?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Andrea Gaitan. I think that's
Really?
what you said. Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Okay,
So,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Cool. Shout out.
Shout out. I think she's the only one
She
like
invented the
she's
Mexican
the first one.
roll.
She's the first one to do it.
That is awesome. Good for
That's
her.
what it says on the internet. So
Okay, all right.
yeah, good
Cool.
for her. That was the only one I had. But we can either spin it again, because I know you really wanted to land on a hot take. So we can either spin it again, or we can dive into the LF'n wild card. So I'll let you you choose.
I'll
Do you
just
wanna
give it one more just to see what we get.
Yeah, give it another spin.
I'm curious.
What is it on?
Hot take. No.
So before the pod, Rivers looked at the thing and she's like, how long did you say on drive down? You're like an hour.
The drive is like 7 hours.
And you couldn't think of a hot take.
I knew this was coming because I listened to the Grab Matters podcast, and if you don't, you should, and you should become a Patreon member.
Shout out.
I'm a Krill Grab member, but I was trying to think of a freaking hot take, and I couldn't think of one, so that's my hot take, is I don't have a hot take.
Which is, yeah, it's a, lukewarm take in itself. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw in my hot take, shitty Instagram wakeboard trick tutorials. I'll just throw that out there. If you're going to do it, at least properly teach someone how to do a trick. Don't just be like, put weight on your back foot and grab the handle.
Yep.
So, all right, we got a LF'n wild card. And this is from Gavin Stuckey. So it's a little bonus from the crew at Liquid Force. Teammate, Gavin Stuckey. Alleged crush, according to Chase Andrews.
He's fresh.
He is fresh. He's a fresh.
He's a newbie.
Is it? Probably just about a year at this point, yeah?
Yeah, I guess so.
It was just after New Year last year.
Yeah, I reckon.
So, yeah, 1 year anniversary. Gavin Stuckey says, true or false, riding at OWC has allowed you to win basically every single contest last year. So I think he means like spending the winter at OWC.
I'd say halfway true because I ride at Terminus also, which is the best cable in the world in my opinion. Well, yeah. Anyways, I mean, yeah, I definitely think it helps for sure, like a ton. First off, pretty much every single pro wakeboarder in America lives here. So that's huge, that to push everyone in like that environment of just like, I want to say high expectations, but kind of high expectations maybe. Not in a bad way, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Everyone's pushing each other, like being down here with Campbell rips, like riding with her a lot has been so fun. Of course, seeing Trent do heel back 12s on the cable every day is just like mind blowing. And definitely having that extra bit of ride time before I go home for the season is huge. And I'm so grateful that I get to do it.
Yeah. And the setup's good.
Setup's good.
OWC.
Yeah,
So.
setup tension's good. Like they pretty much have everything you need now.
Yeah.
For sure. Air tricks, kickers, banks, landers, rails, pool, all of it. Rails, boxes.
Yeah.
Rollers.
They got landing ramps out there. Water landing ramps, which is sick. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. They're spending the winters at OWC here in Orlando. So, yeah go ahead and put that LF'n Wheel of Questions back.
Shout out Liquid Force.
Troop. Yeah, check out the new 2025 gear. I'm excited to see the butter stick. Right, no, the noodle. Not the butter stick's redesigned, but the noodle is what I'm
We've
excited.
got a couple at Terminus.
I gotta
Pretty
get
fun.
one of those suckers a try.
You should.
So we got a Patreon question from Jackson Kaufman, the homie up at Terminus.
Jackson's awesome.
Thank you to everybody on the Patreon. Thank you, Jackson, for joining. Thanks, everybody on the Patreon. Your guys' support, literally what keeps this podcast going, so thank you so much. And he's wondering, what's the best judging format for a pro-level contest? And is there any criteria that you think is needed or not needed? I guess kind of your opinions on that.
Yeah, like I said, LAO is a really good one. I love that format. It kind of has a bit of everything, actually. You kind of start with these big heats in the beginning, like heats of 7 or 8 at least, and then I think top 2 or 3 go through, which is a little brutal, but you kind of have to be when there's that. Yeah, that's another thing about LAOs. There's so many people too.
Which I think is sick.
There's so many registered riders, which is sick. Lingenfeld Open, like everybody goes.
Big field.
So you kind of start in a big pool of riders and then kind of narrow it down pretty quickly, and then like another heat of 4 maybe, and then they do integrate a head-to-head round, which is cool. So you kind of get a bit of everything, and then finals is I think top 4 or something, but That one's cool. One that's pretty brutal is Wake Duel. That one's pretty brutal. That's
Explain. For people who don't know anything about Wake Duel.
Wake Duel, hence the name. It's head-to-head all the way through from start to finish. I think the guys ride like 16 times.
Yeah.
Because it's head-to-head every single time. And it's cool because it's just unique to that event. So like that's not something they need to change at all. But it's just pretty crazy. Like the first and second place, like what you would think would be the first and second place riders could be going against each other in the first round. So it's like
it's not seeded. It's like,
not seeded.
And I think that would be my biggest gripe with that. Is
it's luck of the
seeded.
draw.
Yeah.
Which I think it's cool because it's like it creates this exciting atmosphere when they do the draw. It's like, ooh, who are you gonna get?
True.
And it's
Good
hype
point.
and everybody's stoked and it's like it's exciting. It's fun to watch too, as for a live stream because it's easy to understand. You know, it's just like these two people go against each other. Whoever wins goes through. Yeah. And the other person's knocked out. I think it would be cool if there was an LCQ round.
I was literally just about to say that. I think that would be the one addition.
Because you fly all the way to Lithuania, and then you get knocked out first round. Better luck next time. Like that's,
you didn't even get to ride.
That's a little rough. That's a little rough.
Yeah.
But, I mean, also, if it did an LCQ round, it would take freaking ever. But it's also cool because they do the qualifier, which is like a day before or 2 days before. LA was cool. Mash this year was interesting. It was fun. Challenging because you had to have 2 separate runs. Usually it's just one run, but this time you had to, for finals only, I think it was, you had to do your first run, and then second run, you had 3 runs. Second run had to be a completely different run.
Every single trick had to be different?
Every single trick had to be different.
I didn't know that. That's wild.
Yeah, so you're practicing
2 runs.
2 runs. And so, like, my first run, luckily, I just nailed my first run, which was my hardest run. And there's definitely different approaches to take. Like, do you do your easiest run first? Do you do your hardest run first? I did my hardest run, laced it. It's like, okay, let's go. Now I have 2 chances to get my second run that I threw together this morning ready. So second run, I kind of I did okay. And then third run,
Okay, because I remember watching, I think I was watching with a bunch of wakeboarders, and we were kind of confused. We probably didn't have the sound on to hear the commentating, but we were confused as to, like, who won and why when, like, somebody had a really good one run and then the second one they, like, fell on the next 2 or whatever. Like,
yeah, and they were scored differently. Like, you had 2 scores.
Yeah.
And then that was your combining score. So, like, instead of, your points, like, our scores were at, like, 180 or 160 or something. Because, like, my first run was 86, and then my second run was, like, 77 or something.
Yeah.
And then they combine. Yeah, that was hard, but that was cool. It was definitely a challenge.
It's different, for sure. Yeah.
And then we talked to the judges afterwards, and they were like, we're never doing this again.
Okay, well, there we go.
Yeah.
We tried, maybe didn't like it.
Yeah.
Not doing it again.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right, well, we're talking about MASH. I want to get your thoughts on the mega ramp, if you'd like to see the mega ramp come back to MASH.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You would?
I don't think, I would like a chance for the ladies to hit it, because maybe Anna hit it that one. Like, there was a team event when girls weren't in MASH, but they could do the team event. Anna was there, and I think she says that she hit it.
Okay.
And there's, like, no clips or anything, but it would be so cool if we got that back.
Yeah.
It looks scary.
It does.
I mean, cutting in, like, especially now that I've ridden the 2.0, like, cutting into, like, just a large plastic wall, like, not seeing the other side seems very intimidating, but I think it would be really good for the sport. And I'm always watching snowboarding and, like, dang, that looks so cool.
Well, it has that factor of just you're going huge. Like,
yeah.
just going massive.
And just, like, I love a lander, and, like, they're just, like, landing on a downslope is just such a cool part of snowboarding. I mean, you have to, otherwise you die, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just it's so cool. And I think that would be sick if we got that back in. I think now Trent and Gavin would do some crazy, like Gunther did back with 7. What was that? 6 years ago?
Whenever was it the last time they had it?
The last time they had it, and just imagine just crazy.
Yeah, it would be crazy. I was curious as a girl on your thoughts, like if the ladies are like, yeah, we want it back too. You know?
I mean, someone's got to do it for sure.
True.
Yeah.
So, would you say Munich Mash was your biggest win, or okay?
Yeah, that was hard. It was like me and Claudia were like neck and neck. Claudia killed it. I mean, she's a machine.
Yeah,
she's so good. And
That's awesome.
we were 2 points apart.
Oh, it was that close.
And 40 points ahead of everybody else. Like it was so close. She's so good. And she's always so consistent too.
Yeah, she is. She's an assassin.
It's
so
inspiring.
Speaking of contests, you won that contest. Well, let's talk about a contest that you didn't win. Wake the City, Milwaukee. You guys get second or third? Third. Okay.
Yeah, I think I fell every single run. I'm sorry, Meagan.
So I'm curious on this because I talked to you afterwards and you were doing was it cab 7 or front 7 from the kicker to lander? Cab 7. Okay. And that's what you fell on, I think, on the last round or whatever. The last one I caught. Do you think cab 5 would have been sufficient?
Yeah, probably. But I'm like all or nothing.
Is that so? I guess my question is like the mentality of.
It's like last run. It's like I've literally fallen every single run. So like there's really nothing to lose. We're already on the podium. It's only a 3-man final.
Yeah.
And that was my thought process. I'm sure Meagan's was probably something different. Seasoned pro. She was like, Rivers, just don't fall and we'll, maybe get second or third. But yeah, I'm sorry, Meagan, but that was rough. But yeah, I mean, I was landing in practice. I landed all of this in practice, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. And I was like, hey, like last run, here we go. I'll just try the 7, and then I fail.
So I guess as a spectator's perspective, like you were landing the 7 no problem in practice, and you can do that trick like no problem. But then is it like in some people's brain they're probably like, well, no, do cab 5 if like if you're comparing all the runs, you're like we can win with just this cab 5. But like from your perspective, I feel like that's totally changing the game plan first off, and then second off, like you're hindering progression of the sport in a sense.
That and also, I mean, it could go both ways.
Yeah.
I think it's another thing where I just need to learn to assess the situation, which is something like I'm learning over time. But yeah.
Rumor has it you were so upset that you puked that night. Is that true?
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it. True or false?
Not sure that's why I threw up, but.
Oh man. Okay. It's true for the listeners. If you're wondering, it is true.
Thank you for the bottle of water and ibuprofen on my nightstand, Meagan.
Yeah, lifesaver right there. Another vet move from Meagan right there.
Yeah, she's really like big sister right there. Thank you.
Let's.
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, it happens. Let's talk the unit feature because this is recent-ish. I mean, by the time this comes out, I mean, this is after the new year, right? That it came out, or right around the new year.
Yeah, it came. I mean, we just posted the full thing the other day.
You got your water bottle. You can.
Oh yeah.
Prop that up, or even maybe on that mic stand.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
the lunker.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we got a custom unit feature, which is a big deal in anybody's career, I think, to get
talk about like highlights.
your name on a rail.
Yeah.
So what is it? What are we looking at right now? We got some transition. We got some rail. We got some freaking stairs in this unit. What's going on here?
3D print. Sorry. No. So I always say this. I love landers. I love banks. I kind of wanted to incorporate into this. I don't know. I've never really seen a good up rail to lander, which was kind of the first initial thought.
Yeah.
So just making it a proper like the unit has a lander series, but it's a little short, and I just wanted something that was intended for that. And then I was like, okay, how can we make it a little different? We added a creeper out of these banks. I wanted a bank too because I really love a bank. And what's cool too, I wanted to be able to do some like re-entries. So meaning like you can ride up the wall, go down the lander, and there's lots of options. So that's like the initial is an up rail to a proper lander.
Yeah.
Like that is just to me one of the coolest feelings in wakeboarding. And then also if you turn it around, it's a dope, such a sick rail to get a nice nose press. And like I love nose presses. So it'll just set you up perfectly on the nose here. You can flip to this. It's pretty much a medium kicker according to John.
Okay.
So you can flip to this, but if you don't pop, sets you nicely on the rail. So many lines. And according to lots of people that I've seen this on Instagram, they think there are stairs, like a firecracker. But I hate to break it to you, there's no firecracker. Which now looking at it, I'm like, that would be sick, little before the. But no, this is not a firecracker creeper. Sorry.
Okay, so like the one thing that I look at landers, and sometimes it's kind of annoying when you see a lander where they're like people land right here on the lander, and like that's where it sets you up. So you're not really catching much tranny, which is like kind of what you're not going. Like that's what you want when you're doing landers.
And I kind of went back and forth between, like I initially wanted transition too because that's what is the proper lander for me instead of just like a flat box. But we kind of went back and forth. But I was like, no, like that was my gut. Was like definitely transition, and then have no transition in the banks. Yeah. So you have like lots of different feelings.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of lines initially looking at this without even riding it. But I like the gap between the rail and the lander because that gives you that opportunity to pop from here and land like towards the top of the tranny.
And we played with it too. We were like, as a beginner, you probably like beginners don't really know how to pop off of rails yet. So I guess as a beginner you might clip this, but I'm like, once you like I want this to be a rail that like feels good to me. You know, and something that all the other pros can ride it. But I mean, it's still, a beginner can still ride it, which is important.
And even if you do clip it, like you're going into down tranny, it's not a big deal. Yeah. It's a good way to learn how to do that, I think.
For sure. So throw you into the wolves.
Yeah, exactly. It's just plastic at the end of the day anyway, so we're all right.
Good.
Yeah,
no, I'm so stoked on it. Looking at this now, I'm like, this is exactly what I had in my head too. So shout out John and David for like really dialing this in, and thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Nice looking piece of plastic right there.
Nice looking piece, and it's a new toy. It's magnetic, and I can rearrange it. So yeah, it is split into 3 pieces.
Okay.
So which is cool now, is you can take it off. It can just be an up rail. Put this behind or in front of anything. You got a kicker. Yeah, I'm stoked.
Yeah, that's sick. Super sick. So yeah, go buy.
Very excited.
Go buy it.
Yeah.
Go buy the thing.
Yeah, link in my bio.
Love to see it. Yeah, I'll put a still picture in too, so you guys can see like a higher quality version of it. But
would love to get this thing in the United States.
Yeah, if you're parked in the U.S. I mean, obviously anywhere too, but if you're parked in the U.S., you know, maybe take a little look at this thing.
Very nice.
All right, so I guess that was a good touch on the Unit Rivers rail there. Is that what it's called, the Unit Rivers rail?
Yeah, they don't really do like names.
You got to sign it. That's a thing right now, right? That's what I heard. I got to sign it.
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess it's the Hedrick rail, the Rivers rail. I think my grandpa would be stoked if it was the Hedrick rail.
How about Hedrick's? Hendrix. The Hendrix rail.
No. Sorry, that is not.
All right, I think we kind of shift gears a little bit and hit on another Patreon question. And this one is from Chase Smith. And he's wondering, how did you get into making content for Terminus? And I think this can kind of open up a different can of worms of like the production side of things, video side of things. So, yeah, how'd you get into making content?
Yeah, so if you guys listen to Chase's podcast, you know he's a big production guy. So that was a big influence for sure. He that was pretty important to him also in doing the whole Terminus thing. And so I guess like, I don't know, my dad had a camera and he never touched it. And so one day I just picked it up and started playing with it. And then literally, like, okay, yeah, I've always had so many random hobbies growing up. My parents will tell you the same thing. Like, I've always just, like, gone through so many little phases and random things, and eventually it was photography, and that just kind of stuck with me. Who knows, maybe I'll drop it in 3 years, but, yeah, like, I don't know, I just loved photography and filming, and then just literally started bringing my camera to the park every single day. I would ride for a couple hours, and then I'd go sit in a corner or with my camera, walk around the park, filming all the guys like Chase Williams, all those guys. And then Terminus, we did the Last Laps contest, which was a film contest. I think the first one was 2021. And I started, I was a team captain, filmed a video for that, loved it, loved the whole process. And kind of stuck with it. And then I guess Chase kind of came to me, was like, hey, you want to help us with some content? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I was stoked. Like, I would do it either way. I just loved filming what I love to do, photographing what I love to do, photographing. Photography. Yeah, see, there's what that online school's coming in, but no, yeah, it was just a really big passion of mine, really big hobby, and stuck with it, and now I make pretty much all the content on Terminus's Instagram and maybe a little bit of their website. Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing some for OWC now too.
Oh, there you go. So, is that the stuff you did with Campbell?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So I guess, is this something you want to do like as a career on top of wakeboarding, or just like kind of mesh it in with what you're doing? Like you're a pro rider and then also.
Yeah. So now it's kind of a little bit here and there. I don't want to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out of wakeboarding. So it's kind of balancing that. Like, it's something I love and I want to be able to do both, but it's just certainly more of like a little side hustle right now, a passion of mine. And then definitely after wakeboarding, I'm like, that's like right now anyways, is like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of room for it now in this day and age, and being a, marketing manager or having my own production company or a freelance filmer, photographer, any of that, I would love to do.
Yeah.
And I'm already doing quite a bit of it now. I kind of obviously do a lot more in the wintertime. In the summer, it's hard, but yeah.
So we got kind of a follow-up from Garrett Cortez, and he's wondering how important it is this day and age to wear multiple hats as an athlete. So not just be someone who goes out and wins contests, but can be kind of leaned on and trusted with, like, we need them to create X piece of content. Like, I think it's very important, but I'm curious on someone who's doing it. Like,
yeah, I think it kind of depends. Like, I don't think Trent needs to go and learn how to be a professional videographer. His writing kind of speaks for itself, and same with a lot of other guys like Pedro. He does a lot of content, but he doesn't do it himself.
Yeah.
He has someone do it for him. And for me, it's like, that's not something I necessarily think about, really. I mean, believe it or not, it's just something I happen to love so much that I want to do it so much. And I guess it does add, it does add value to myself as an athlete. And just the brands knowing that they won't have to worry about me marketing them or showing, the best of the best. And going to shoots like the LF shoot this year, I filmed a lot. And yeah, I think it does add value, but that's not something that I'm really worried about. It's just like, I want to do what I love, and filming and photography happens to be
not a path for everybody, but
yeah. I mean, like, I don't think everybody has to do it. Like, don't do it because, this is my opinion, but don't do it because you think you have to. Do it because you want to do it. It's like, it shouldn't be a burden, really. It shouldn't be like, oh, I have to go film all this content for Instagram because that's what everybody else is doing right now, and that's what I think the brands want me to do. It's like, no, like, do it because you think it's cool and you want to do it.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's not going to have much longevity in it, I would imagine.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to turn out that good anyways.
I was going to say, and then your content's going to look horrible. And then
it's got to be natural.
Then you're going to have trashy Instagram tutorials or wakeboard tutorials.
Yeah, and we don't want those.
We don't want those.
That's the last thing we want.
So do it because you love it, not because you have to.
Yeah, definitely. I think it does help with like a brand trusting a rider because content's really important nowadays. Like you're saying, like this day and age, it's more important than it's ever been. Yeah. Because it's so easy to put out there. But
But it's like, let your talents kind of do their thing and naturally add value to your own brand. It's not just filming. Like, there's so many other things you can be good at.
Yeah.
Like, you can just be good at sending emails and you might end up making more money than everybody else.
True. Not good at that. I think we touch on the ROTY board. I think we go ahead and grab that ROTY board down.
All right.
So your name is at the top. Yeah, good luck getting that off there. Oh, there you go. So for those who don't know, if you haven't listened to the last several podcasts, it's ROTY season. And it might have already come out by the time this podcast comes out. We don't know when the Boys at Alliance are going to, decide to release it. But so Rivers is going to pick, who she thinks should be, will be the 2024 Rider of the Year. Or she's going to endorse a name that's already on there. So
is it a bad look if I just circle my own?
I know you're not going to do that, but
I'm just kidding.
Honestly, that'd be a great look.
I'm just kidding.
So we've got Rivers for the listeners. Rivers, Pedro, Caldas, Cole Crace, Trent Stuckey, Thomas Herman, and Gavin Stuckey. So quite a good mix of, boat riders, cable riders, kind of guys who are doing it both, like Trent and Gavin, Thomas Herman, boat guy holding it down.
Okay. So I'm honestly surprised that it took this long for this name to come up on the board. But if it wasn't on there already, I would write it down. I'm going to put Gavin. He worked his tail off the past 2 months before this dropped the edit of the year, if not past 3 years.
Fusion.
Literally checked every single box. Craziest winching. Unique to Gavin, like Gavin's style. He did it his way. I'm gonna put Gavin.
I agree with it. Took a while for Gavin's name to get put down there.
But
the edit didn't come out until probably halfway or 3/4 way down
excellence
this
takes
list,
time.
so.
Excellence takes time.
Oh, that's some wisdom right there. Living with Meagan and Gunther, I can tell it does it to you. So that's a good name. I think
props Gavin.
Gavin killed it. Obviously, if you haven't seen Fusion, link will be down below. But that's a huge edit.
Yeah,
Has
it's
it all.
pretty cool to watch him do all that. Like he dropped grounded in the beginning of the year. He went and won. Let's see, he podiumed on pretty much everything. Won Mash, Embley.
Oh, he did win Embley, didn't he?
Got that watch.
Yeah.
He's a wake skater now. Won wake.
He's a wake skate world championship. People sleep on that one.
Wakeboard worlds.
If you're top 4 in the world, it's a big deal.
Dabbled in the boat.
He did.
Gavin's ripping, and it's cool to see him kind of navigate this industry while I'm doing the same. And I've learned a lot from Gavin too. So
you deal with Gavin. We all deal with
Gavin.
Yeah, good luck putting that back up there. It's not a big deal.
Why is his name on the back now?
Well, he wrote his name because he was the first one, so he just wrote who he voted for.
Oh.
And I was gonna have everybody else do it, but we didn't do that.
Oh,
apparently. Yeah, running a tight
next
ship
year,
here at
next
the
year.
Grab Matters podcast. Yeah, and next year we'll probably get an actual legitimate. Actually, I kind of like the skateboard. I don't know. This is cool. Yeah, shout out Outhouse. I think I did say that, but yeah, that's good on there. Nice. Most things in here are, so it's just kind of how that's the way she goes here. The house is crooked.
Your background is looking very nice.
Thank you.
Your backdrop.
I will say I won't take credit for a lot of it. It's gifts from a lot of people, but yeah.
Yeah, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like seeing it kind of grow over each podcast.
Yeah, it is cool. So pretty hyped on that. All right, so we got ROTY in. I'm assuming it'll be out by the time this podcast comes out, but you never know. You never know. I think we dive into another guest question from Campbell, Scarborough.
Campbell.
What's up, Rivers? What's up, Hunter? Thanks so much for hitting me up to send in a question for Rivers. I've got 2 for you. My first question is, what is your favorite thrifted riding fit? We've had some wild ones over the years, and so I'm interested to know your all-time favorite. And my second is, I know you bounce back and forth between ODUB and Terminus, as well as riding a ton of different parks all around the world. But what makes ODUB and Terminus so special on and off the water? I am super, super hyped to hear this episode. Later, guys.
Thanks, Campbell.
Thanks, Campbell. Okay, thrifted outfits. I really haven't had too many, but I think she's just referring to one time, again, hanging out with Cooper Scarborough.
For those who don't know, Cooper Scarborough's got some kits.
Wild kits.
Wild kits.
The recent ones have been interesting, and I mean to ask him about it. But anyways, we went to this like thrift store in Winter Park, I think. Or, I don't know. They had these like cargo pants and this vest, and Cooper was like, "You have to get this." I was like, "Okay, fine." It was like $20 or something, but I wore it for one day and then never wore it again.
Did you wear it riding?
Yeah.
Cargo
You
pants.
were there. You were there. This was like a year ago. I have a video or a picture.
What park was this? ODUB?
ODUB. Yeah, this was last winter.
I probably didn't notice because it was probably a good-looking kid. I was just like, blend in.
I probably looked like a little boy.
And then what makes OWC and Terminus, kind of stand out, I guess?
Yeah, definitely the community. That's so important. Keeps this industry alive, I think. And then, of course, like ODUB, like I said earlier, pretty much perfect setup. They've got everything open all year round. And then Terminus, I could go on forever, but
we did touch on Terminus pretty good, yeah.
Terminus is a little slice of heaven.
And there's nothing like your home pond too.
No, there's nothing like
Especially when it's a good one, it's like
there's nothing like it.
Nothing like it. I got a question on a riding. I don't know how you'd say this. Tick you have. You do some helmet checks.
Oh my God! Did you notice, or did you just?
I've noticed this for a little bit, and I've tried to make some side bets on the amount of helmet checks we get in some contest runs.
That is so funny because I'm not self-conscious about it, but I know that I do it. And I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, if you ever see me do that, just know that I'm like kind of nervous or something.
Okay, so I was watching your Munich Mash, the winning run, one of the two. And it was kind of wild because you were like hyping up the crowd, which is sick because like there's so many people on the shoreline.
Yeah, that was
But
fun.
then like in between hyping up the crowd, it's like helmet check, hype up the crowd. So I don't know. I just was curious.
I don't know. It's like I just gotta make sure my helmet's on right. Otherwise, it's not gonna.
Still there? Yeah.
I just, when like the snowboarders have the gap.
The gaper gap, yeah.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah,
I don't think that's why, but it's like hopefully I don't have a little gaper gap.
Something's in your head, yeah.
I don't know. It's just like a little.
That's interesting because I feel like people have all sorts of weird different things that they do. Like people have weird duck
I always do it.
starts
I'm like I do, and I like scrunch my nose too. I like.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
It's kind of like it goes hand in hand. That's so funny that you brought that up. I do it so much, and it's just an unconscious thing.
I wouldn't stop because it seems to be working.
The helmet tick.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, another one, another
hilarious.
riding style thing. I want to know who has more Jello-like knees, you or Graham Burris, because I don't think anybody has ridden away from stuff that you and Graham.
Dude, I've asked my doctors about it. I don't know.
Did you show them the video of like?
Yes, I asked my chiropractor, and they say it's like a hip thing.
Oh, is it a hip thing?
I think
okay.
because as a girl, like you put a lot of weight in your hips. It's like I've got really tight hips, maybe. And it's like once your hip gives out, it's like connected to your IT band and then like goes all the way down. But I guess I have good knees because
You have to.
I mean, it happens all the time.
I'll put in a clip of a back nine that just absolutely should not have been
And I
ridden away from.
I do all these like exercises to try to prevent it. And it's just like, I don't know. It's nice because if I'm in the back stretch of the cable, like I know I'm not going to fall. It's like dragging out of a like.
It's like wake skating to me, like where you like the wake skaters just like have their body completely off.
But like I'm not touching the water. It's like all on my board.
So are they makes?
No. No. It's not a disqualification, but it's not a make either.
Yeah, it's right in the gray area there. Okay, so speaking of back nine though, how many tries are we talking for back nine? Like, was that a battle?
It was 3.
3. Okay, so not a battle.
The first one was I literally should have rode away from it.
Okay.
It was crazy. I don't know. I was so surprised. It was hard. It was more just like spinning fast enough, because it's just like a back 5. Landing like a back 5. It's more just like how fast and how hard can I pull, pretty much. And
yeah.
The second time I like kneed myself in the chin, I was like, oh dang it, this hurts.
Is back nine the best trick in wakeboarding? Cable wakeboarding? I'm just asking for a friend.
I don't think so.
What's the best trick you think?
That's so subjective. It could be a nose press. It could be a triple flip.
Oh yeah, it could be.
It could be triple rewind, double rewind.
I was gonna ask you a trivia question, and I was gonna say, what's the first trick in? Well, it was on the LF'n wheel, so we didn't get it. But what was the first trick in Gavin's edit? The double rewind shit.
Wham. So sick.
Wham.
I think I have an iPhone clip of it on my phone.
Were you there for when it was okay?
Yeah, but he did it. Gavin might be mad if I tell you this, but no, he did it in practice. It was like, last light of day kind of thing. Like I was riding and then I fell and wind came in and then he was still riding and then he did back move 7 and then double rewind. And we were just like, nice. And poor Trent, he was sick the whole week.
He was.
He was not feeling well. And then I guess I wasn't there for when Dave filmed it, so I guess Gavin hit up.
It looked
Dave.
like a morning light situation.
Yeah, it must have been when they filmed his unit video or something.
Yeah, it could have been.
But so crazy.
Very crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, back 9 best trick in wakeboarding.
No, toe back 7.
Toe back 7.
IWWF Worlds.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Shout out.
Okay, toe back 7, great trick. Have you toe back 9 or just heel back 9?
No, I've only heel back 9.
Okay, because I feel like a lot of people think that toe back 9 might be easier, which
I don't know. I wonder. Maybe it is. I've never done it.
Yeah. Well, maybe you'll do it first try when you try it.
I know. I've wanted to try it, but it's like feels like a lot of effort. I'll get there someday.
It is. That's a lot of spinning.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're spinning around a lot. All right, we got another Patreon question from Alex McWhorter. I think that's how you say that.
Yeah.
She's wondering if you ever missed a podium and why.
Oh man, I haven't seen Alex in way too long. So Alex, let's ride soon. But yeah, this was back when I was like 12, and I did the Georgia Wake series. Shout out Brandon Lee and all those guys. It was like a 6-stop series, maybe 6 or 8, and there was one down in boat. Super fun. I love those. I think I stacked up about like 5 or so ambush gift cards from the podiums from that, so pretty nice.
There you go.
Yeah. There was one down in Albany, Georgia. It was like a swamp, like on the Flint River. Yeah. Asked my dad about it the other day because I saw the question and wanted to make sure I knew what to say. But yeah, I was in like intermediate women or something, and we did our runs, and we pulled the camper down there. So it was raining. It was like kind of a gross day. Went back inside the camper, and we watched the Parks Bonifay documentary, me and my dad. And then afterwards, we took a nap because it was raining. You know, the sound on the camper is nice and soothing. And then we come outside, and contest is over, podium's over, and they're like, Rivers, where were you? I was like, what? And I missed the podium. I think I won. I don't know, 12. So,
One less ambush gift card. Or they mail it to you.
I'm sure, yeah. And, I was sleeping during the podiums.
So this was a boat contest?
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to touch on boat a little bit because you're staying with the Okas.
Yeah.
Two, incredible boat riders. Both good cable riders.
Yeah, goats.
Amazing, but they ride a lot of boats.
2 goats right there.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm curious on, like, do you ride a bit of boat when you're staying with them? Like, what's the situation? Because they got an Axis and a Mash probably sitting right out there.
Not that much, actually. I haven't ridden boat in a long time. I usually do, like, I'll ride, like, twice a year.
Really?
I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I really do like boat. I don't know. It's like being, like, I never ride it when I'm home because we don't have a boat. We don't have a lake. Terminus is 30 minutes away. The lake house is 4 hours away without a boat. It's, like, not super accessible, I guess. I would love to ride more boat. Absolutely. Like, if that's something that I can make happen, I would love to. I don't know. It's like, it's not something that I'm super focused on right now. I think I'm just trying to take advantage of what I've got going for me with cable, I guess, and then maybe dabble in it a little bit in the future. I'm not against it at all whatsoever. It's something that I would love to do more if possible. Yeah.
Interesting. I was curious because,
it's more like I'll go take a little joyride, like if they're going out. They're training,
Yeah, what's their, I got to know their regimen because they probably have cooled off a little bit now, but they've got to be locked in. Like, what time are they getting up?
They are probably, now it's definitely more chill because, but they are some of the busiest, hardworking people I know. Gunther is a workaholic. He's
a machine.
He is always doing something, like, always, all the time. I'm like, where's Gunther? Mine's like, oh, he's like foiling or doing something or winging or winching or like doing surfing, like doing something. They're always doing something. It's so cool to see too. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was more, now it's like the chill time, it's January, but yeah, I'd say they're pretty good.
You don't get to where they're at by being lazy, I can tell you that. So.
No, not at all.
Yeah, they're savages. So I guess, speaking of Meagan and Gunther, we got another guest question from Meagan.
Oh, goodness.
Tee that one up.
Meagan, there's so many guest questions. Yeah. Thanks, homies.
Hey, Rivers and Hunter. I hope you all are having fun on the pod. I have a few questions for you, Rivs. First off, who do you really like more, Smokey or Snuggles? On a more serious note, being friends with you and seeing you in the early stages of your pro career has been really fun for me, and it's been making me reminisce on my early days as a pro. I still remember how exciting that first big year was because there were no expectations and I could just focus on proving myself. After that first year, I started to feel the pressure to maintain and to keep building on what I was already doing. With that being said, you had a pretty big standout season, even ROTY worthy if you ask me, and I want to know if you are starting to feel any pressure. If so, how has that been for you and how are you using that to motivate you for the upcoming season? I also wanted to say that it's been really amazing to watch you and Campbell lead the charge for American women in the park scene over the past few years. Do you feel like there are any advantages or disadvantages that come with being an American park rider?
So those are
great
two
questions.
Great, I guess 3. First one, Smokey or Snuggles. I don't know what Snuggles is. But.
Snuggles is my cat at home. I can't, no, Snuggles, of course, but random. Okay, next question.
So next question was, I think this is fascinating, especially coming from her. Pressure when it comes to, like, what she said makes sense to me as your first year, no one has expectations for you.
Yeah, that was such a good question.
So, but after that first year, you have a good year. I'm curious on everybody's thoughts on this, but specifically yours, because that following season, do you feel the pressure of like, I'm expected to win by the people I'm riding against, myself, my family, sponsors? Like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, that first year it's like no expectations at all. Like super, I don't want to say chill, but pretty chill. Just kind of figuring out the ropes and all of that. But I mean, yes and no. I think I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself just naturally. I mean, I'm a competitive person. Like, I want myself to do well. But I think also I've learned how to deal with that pressure and kind of turn it into motivation and not expectations. And yeah, I'm really just trying to like focus on enjoying what I get to do as a young, 18-year-old. Like, I'm not in school. I get to travel the world. I've been to so many cool places, met so many cool people. I have friends all around the world. And I get to do such cool things, and I'm very, very, very grateful for that. So I think it's just kind of like I really try to enjoy it as much as I can. And undoubtedly, I'm always, putting so much pressure on myself, but I try not to let it get to me to the point where it's hurting me and not helping me.
So I guess on the dock, like before a contest, what's your energy like? Are you nervous? Are you excited? I mean, probably a lot of different emotions, but like, what are you channeling as you're about to go off to your contest run?
Yeah, and that's something last year too that I really tried to observe and like recognize how I'm feeling, because I guess in the years before I'm just like doing it, and so I've really trying to like recognize like, how do I feel right now? How did I feel last time? And that's hard. I don't know how to really put it into words, I guess. I think I'm pretty calm. I try to be calm. I'm definitely like antsy, but what?
No, I'm just curious. It's interesting to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely like antsy because I'm like ready. I'm just like, it also depends on how practice goes.
Makes sense.
If practice doesn't go well, I'm like, oh God, like now, like people.
Oh boy, we're not prepared.
Yeah, and I have a gut feeling too. Like if it's head to head, I'm like, oh, like okay, now's the time to really put it on, and yeah.
Interesting.
Some like MASH, I was feeling really good.
Okay.
As an example, like I felt really good at MASH, and I was like super pumped too, because like especially how close me and Claw were, it was like I was like, let's go, like time to put it on. If you're not, if it's not that tight, like obviously tight, then maybe you're a little more relaxed, but you're still smart about it. But yeah.
Okay.
Like, and it's, I don't know, there's a certain feeling like Wake the City. I was just not feeling well. And you could tell, like, it's just you're not feeling well. Maybe I put too much pressure on myself then because, like, I don't know, like, now it's the time to show up. Like, I'm here with Meagan. Meagan's hoping that I do well too, like, and vice versa. And so maybe that's when I put too much pressure on myself. So then I wasn't feeling well. And then I fell every single run. So, like, that's just an example of where it didn't go well and where I wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So she touched on the second part of that is like the American park rider aspect of it. And I think that's really interesting too, because Europe is like park dominant. It's wakeboarding in Europe is park wakeboarding. Like they have a lot of solid riders, tons of solid parks, a huge culture of, park wakeboarding. And in America, we definitely don't have that comparatively, right? So do you feel it's an advantage, a disadvantage? I mean, you get to ride year round, so that's good, but like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think there's lots of disadvantages and advantages. I think the disadvantage is all the events being overseas, and so that's a lot of expensive and long flights back and forth, a lot of traveling. There's definitely, obviously, way few parks here. Like, the closest park from Terminus is 4 hours south or 4 hours north, whereas in Germany there's like 10 within a 30-mile radius. But I don't know. So it I don't know. Like, there's definitely a lot of advantages too.
Yeah, I'm curious on like everybody's pretty friendly in the wakeboard industry. I think
For sure.
from everybody I've met.
Yeah.
Is there ever like an attitude from like Europeans of like, oh, here we go, another fucking American, coming in, like, God, these guys suck.
I don't think so. I don't know. Not that I've noticed. I mean, this is only my 3rd year. I'm sure like some of the other guys would tell you differently, or other girls. Like, yeah, it's nothing that I've really seen.
Not that serious, which is good.
I mean, there's
think.
Definitely like American stigma and like stupid Americans.
Definitely, we kind of put that one on ourselves though.
Yeah, we do for sure. I probably said some things where everyone else looks at me like, what? Like,
what the fuck are you talking
about? Yeah. But I think we're all really good friends now and used to it.
Yeah, definitely.
We're all wakeboarders. Like, who cares if your friend's German, American?
Yeah, we're skipping across the water, piece of wood here.
We're all wakeboarders, yeah. We're all doing this like super random sport that no one really cares about.
So true.
Yeah. Holding on to this wooden handle. Spinning in
circles.
Going in circles, yeah.
Doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
I think we talk setup. So we talk board, boots. We got the deck you're riding in here. You got the life jacket too. So I guess run through everything about your setup.
Yeah. So I am on the Peak. 2025 just dropped, looking fresh. I love this graphic. Probably one of my favorite graphics. Been on the Peak for 2 years now. Been super fun. Nico also makes it look really good.
He does.
Every time I watch the clips of Nico, I'm like, dang, like I wish I could look like that. But yeah, Nico's so sick. So yeah, been on the Peak.
What size sled are you talking here?
146.
Okay.
Yeah. 146. And I kind of go back and forth between boots. I don't know. I just like
interesting.
Well, it's not like I intentionally go back and forth. It's just like, oh, maybe I'll ride these. But I usually am on the 6X hooks, walkable liners. You know, don't want to step on rocks on my bare feet.
Big facts.
Or like the arrows. Like I know Gavin rides those, and I think he likes them. I was like, what's good about these? But I tried them. They're pretty high. It's like a higher cut.
Yeah, I feel like you either like a higher cut or you don't.
And I'm pretty short, and I think it looks weird because like I just have really short legs, and so it's like halfway up my shin. And so like as a short girl, it's like kind of weird. But they're comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean you can't really go wrong, I don't think, with all these boots, but yeah.
What's your stance angle and all that stuff?
My stance. So on the 6X boots, I'm all the way in. If I was 40, I'd be like my fingernail out. 12-12.
Classic
12-12. I've tried others. I've got a pretty narrow foot, so I've tried others, and my foot tends to cramp, which is interesting. Like I've tried to go more straight. Yeah. And I think because my foot's narrow, it ducks out. Or sorry, since it is narrow, it can slide.
Yeah.
So then when my foot naturally wants to duck out.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you'll see me standing, my feet are like this.
Interesting, like a duck.
Yeah, it's interesting, but yeah. So 12-12, pretty natural stance.
And all the way in.
All the way in. Yeah, and then my vest.
Yeah, pop the vest out. What are we rocking with here?
So this is for this season with Follow. It's my signature. It's pretty much just a colorway of the Harmony.
You have a vest with Follow?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. There you go.
So this will be my signature vest for 2025. Pretty sick, actually. I love this color.
It's simple. I like it.
Yeah. I feel like it's pretty Rivers. And Steve says that his kid was drawing on a piece of paper these little scribbles, and he literally took the scribbles and threw it on a vest, which I think is pretty cool.
That's sick, yeah.
Like, yeah. So super thin, which like very low profile, very comfortable, looks nice.
Yeah.
So go pick up one of these for 10% off.
There you go, 10% off. Yeah, the link will be below.
I'll give you the link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, this is a good standard issue Follow vest.
Yeah, get yourself a new vest for the new year.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's time we dive into a new segment presented by Slingshot. Oh. And it is the Slingshot silhouette.
What?
So
cool.
I'm going to show you a picture.
Oh, yeah.
Of a wakeboarder.
Okay.
But obviously it's going to be blacked out.
Yep.
And you're going to have to guess who it is.
Okay, I'm ready.
So for the viewers and listeners, you can tune into the YouTube and you'll be able to see the higher quality version of this silhouette. There's a decent hint on this one with the boots and the board. So at least you can narrow it down a little bit. I just blurred out the person.
All right. So I think I've got it down to 2 options.
Okay. As I said, for the
unfortunately I don't know this clip, so that would have probably helped a lot.
The clip I don't think was in anything.
Like it wasn't in the coalition.
Like I don't think it was in an edit.
Really?
It might have been, but I feel like this was like a standalone clip. Could be wrong. Obviously, I'll put, if I can find, I'll put the clip in and I'll put the.
I kind of think I can see the shape of the helmet, but I'm like not sure. Okay.
It's a girl. So
yeah. I narrowed it down to, okay. I think it's Cena.
What was your other guess?
Coty?
No.
What?
No.
Really?
I'll just show you the actual rider, and I think you should be able to guess. It's black and white.
Is it Hannah?
It's Katinka.
It's Katinka?
Yeah.
Dang. Oh, sorry, Katinka.
Well, this is a heavy
hard.
rail. It is hard.
That's hard.
It is hard. It's not supposed to be easy out here on the Grad Matters podcast.
If anyone could have guessed that right off the bat, let me know.
Yeah, comment down below if you could have guessed that, because it's a tough one.
And
it's not supposed to be easy.
Give you a high five.
Yeah, that's a heavy spot though for the listeners.
That is
this
a heavy
is like
spot.
like
Katinka rips on the winch.
She's so good.
She's so sick.
Yeah, I feel like she's also slept down a little bit. Like
yeah.
Ripper for sure.
She really kills it.
Yeah.
So props, Katinka.
Yeah, definitely. So.
Hello. She's Dutch, so that's like the one Dutch word I know.
Oh man, love it. All right, so thanks to Slingshot for that, for the Slingshot silhouette. So I want to talk about traveling as a girl, because I feel like it's different as a girl versus a guy.
Spooky.
It's what?
Spooky. No, I mean, you just don't want to get stolen, but
you're a person, or you're the things you have, or both.
Both.
So I guess on a more serious note, though, like I think it is easier for younger guys to travel in board sport, action sport type thing, because you can kind of just go crash on a dude's couch and it's like not a big deal.
Yeah.
Whereas for a girl, like obviously I don't know, but I'm curious like what it's like for you, or what it's been like and what it will be like traveling.
Yeah, we probably have a lot more stuff than most dudes out there.
Not just a bar of soap and bare board shorts.
Yeah. Yeah, I think John travels with like 2 pairs of shirts, the same pair of pants.
I'm surprised it's 2 shirts. I think he only rides in 1 shirt ever.
Yeah, well, I think it's just 2 black shirts.
There you go.
One for every other day. Yeah, I mean, it's all I've only, it's all I know. So, I guess if I think about it, it would be harder. I'm not going to go sleep on some random guy's couch in a random country. I mean, you just have to adapt.
Yeah.
Like, just prepare a little more than maybe the guys would.
Yeah. Plan
a little more.
How many?
Maybe think a little more.
I think a little bit more is probably definitely what's going on. Yeah. I mean, I guess also, so I was talking to your parents a little bit, and you do have some like food allergies, and you mentioned you had asthma as well. So like, is that tough to go to a different country and be like, I feel like you got to be kind of
it's like it really sucks just eating anything and like just the thoughts in the back of your head like what if this has peanuts in it or like eggs. Like I'm allergic to nuts and eggs, so eggs and there's eggs and everything.
That's why I said
like
eggs.
Egg wash, it's everywhere. Traveling is a bit tricky, especially foreign languages, and people don't know what you're trying to say, and then you're a stupid American. And I mean, I've had some instances where I've like we went to this Indian restaurant in Landshut, Germany, which is a really cool town. I think Alex Albach lives there, and there was like an allergen list on the menu. We were with a German, and like she clarified everything. Like, no, we were good, no nuts, we're good. And I got my dish, like the first bite, my tongue started like swelling and itching. I'm like,
it's that quick.
It's like I have like a superpower. I can tell if I'm allergic to it or not. So I'm glad that it's quick because then I'll know right away. But I was like, there could have been cross contamination. Like I don't think there was anything actually in the dish, so maybe there was like a cross contamination.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. And so I had my EpiPens with me, and I try not to use them because once I use them, I don't have them anymore. So I just popped like a Benadryl because I knew it wasn't that bad. And I was fine. It took like a couple hours to go away, but like it's like a sudden thing, and it's pretty inconvenient.
Have you've used an EpiPen before?
No.
Oh, you haven't?
I've never.
I was gonna ask what the experience is like.
No, my doctor will tell me use it because it's like
life and death situation.
You just use it. If you start feeling bad, just use it. It's fine. It's not gonna hurt you. I'm like, I don't really want to shoot myself with a needle if I don't have to. So thankfully, knock on wood, never had to use it. But it's like I've lived with these allergies for 18 years. I know what I can eat. I know what I can't eat. I never it's really rare that I accidentally eat something with peanuts in it or nuts in it or whatever. So I'm pretty comfortable.
That's good.
With it.
I could see that though, being the first couple times you go to a country you don't speak their language. It's like, well,
just be smart. Or
just go to McDonald's every time.
Or just go to McDonald's.
That's what I'd be doing.
My first time at McDonald's was actually in Germany. I never eat like fast food here or
the one at Langenfeld?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
great location for McDonald's. They're walking distance to Langenfeld.
Yeah.
We got another Patreon question from Johnny D. He's wondering air tricks or winching.
Okay, that's like apples and oranges.
Well, apples or oranges then.
Apples. I mean,
I guess personally for you, air tricks or winching.
I don't winch. I've winched one time. I would love to winch more. I would love to.
Everybody says that, including myself.
Yeah.
And then I don't winch.
I don't know. It's like I'd love to winch more. No one really. We need to get a solid crew up in Atlanta that winches again.
Does anybody have a winch up there? You got to have somebody with an electric winch, and then you can kind of start making things happen.
I think Levi has one.
He would.
Yeah.
Definitely would.
I think so.
All right.
We need to get it Atlanta folks watching. Let's start winching. Hayden, let's
Hayden's down for sure. Hayden winched in his the video.
That's true. He went with Levi.
He was going Mach 11 on that thing.
So we'll start winching at home, but I think winching. For me, I never really liked air tricks. We've always had rails in every single corner at Terminus. I'm not blaming that for my lack of air tricks, but I just never really did them.
Yeah.
I always hit the rail every single time. I love rails. I'm starting to try to do more air tricks. They're becoming a little more fun. I'm still pretty sus at doing air tricks. But I'd say winching. It looks cooler. It's gnarlier. Sometimes it can be gnarlier, or most of the time it's gnarlier, but it takes a lot more effort. You can't go hit a winch spot 100,000 times. You can do
it by yourself.
You can air trick every single lap.
You can.
Yeah.
Good point.
Winching.
Okay. Speaking of Hayden Lusk, we got a two-parter Patreon question from him.
Okay.
And he's wondering who the most slept-on rider at Terminus is, like a local.
Yeah. So, I'd say Chase Williams. Chase Williams he's so good. I will give credit to my tricks on wakeboard to Chase because just countless laps days riding behind him. Being the only girl really riding with all these guys is really shaped my riding for sure. And he's got so much style. I just always tried to do every single rail trick he did all the time. He's so good. I wish he rode more.
Who's that wake skater cat?
Cam,
that kid's freaking good, sick. Dude.
Oh, he is such a good skater. He's insane. He's so good. And of course now he's just doing life and working and working at Publix, but he's so sick. He gets it done. He's not scared. He'll go and he did I don't know if you saw, he did a raft rail. Mm-hmm. He did wall to it was not on the outside of the cable. It was on the inside of the cable. Wall to rail on a wake skate. Dorito wall all the way over to the rail.
Yeah.
You haven't seen that?
I did.
You did? Yeah. Crazy.
That's what I'm saying. That kid's
so
good,
crazy.
Dude.
He's insane.
Yeah. I feel like I hadn't really seen him before.
And again, too, I wish he skated more, but he's, working and all the whole thing.
Yeah. Part two. Besides Terminus, and you kind of mentioned OW too, but what parks in the States do you think deserve some more love for their community and facilities?
Yeah. I went to West Rock for a weekend, or we did a ride with the pros there. And I've never been, I went when I was 10, but I've never been really before that. And they've got a really cool community. They're kind of, lonely up there in the Midwest, but they've got a really cool spot. And Dan's awesome. Everyone that works there is super cool.
Good setup.
Yeah. Awesome setup. Super down to earth. Yeah. I'd say West Rock.
Good taco joint down the road too if you're ever in the area. I'm sure you had the tacos from whatever that
No,
place is.
what?
Oh, you haven't?
I don't. Oh, wait. Oh, maybe. Well, there was a food truck that came with
It was.
Would
It's
that. Be
that.
it?
It's that
So
same thing.
Good.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So good.
Super good tacos.
Really, yeah.
So
Shout out
little
West
pro
Rock.
tip there if you go to West Rock, tacos,
Mm-hmm.
even if the food truck's not there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got a last Patreon question from Bobby Sutherland.
Oh,
And he's wondering.
saw him the other day.
Yeah, he's down here in Orlando. For a little bit. He said
I
he got
was
a
like
month
filming this little follow wetsuit video, YouTube video coming soon, and he was wake skating, and I'm editing this video, and he's in every single clip because he's a wake skater and falls so much, walking back to the dock like in every single clip, and then eventually I turn around and I see him. He's like, "Oh, I thought that was you."
Bobby getting some screen time out here. I love that.
Major screen time.
Shout out Bobby. He's doing a 3-ship every day that he can.
Oh yeah.
So let's. He's wondering how early in your career did you realize style was important to your game? And that's an interesting one.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know if it was like an epiphany. I don't know if it was like, oh, I have to make this look good. I just think, like again, riding behind Chase, his tricks always look so cool, and I was like, I want to make my stuff look cool.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I could give you like a certain age or a time.
Yeah.
but
Was it? What can you give the exact date that you realized style was important?
September 24th. No. Yeah, I mean, I feel like pretty early, but it was more of just like, I just want to make sure my tricks look good. And slowly, the more you hang out with better riders, you realize that your board shouldn't be 45 degrees on a rail, or you get made fun of for pre-spinning. It's like just hanging out with all these guys.
I don't know who would ever do that.
They were just making fun of me for like pre-spinning up a kicker, and so thank you for making sure I don't get away with that.
Love that. So we got actually one last one from Jackson Coffin I forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah.
Is it a good idea to film while standing on the A-frame?
Yeah, this is PTSD. This is a really bad. I'm just so embarrassed, honestly, that
What happened?
That first off, I let myself do this, and then second off, everybody else at the park let me do this. So we have our A-frame box, like our Pro Tour box, and it's this at this time it was after Tower 1 in the corner. It's right under the cable. So, like, every single rope that comes around rides up onto the box. And so I'm like, they're hitting the pool. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go stand on the A-frame and film the pool. And I just bought a new camera, new lens. I don't know, mic on there, whatever. And I'm just, like, shooting it. And literally first lap, the rope comes up onto the box. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's just like, I jump out of the way. And then the second few kind of bounced around, like it hit the corner and bounced either left or the right of the rail. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm fine. Maybe it was just that one. And then a couple more come, literally ride up onto the box. I'm literally like standing on the box. And this is a small box too, because this was for the Pro Tour. But I'm having to jump out of the way of these ropes. And I don't think Chase Andrews knows this. So he definitely would not let this slide. So I would have gotten in trouble, but lesson learned. Anyways, at one point, okay, Dylan Prater, he is a lot better now, but back then he was is one of our sketchiest riders. Love you, Dylan. But literally, we can go into the story later, but like drowned, Jamie Lupita saved him. Anyway, super sketchy rider. He was coming around like, Dylan, do not pop the handle on the pool. Next lap, pops the handle. It rope bounce, comes up, wraps around my arm with the camera, and like I literally like run to the end of the box, and like finally it shakes loose, and I don't fall in the water. My camera's fine.
Really? You stay dry? Wow.
I stay dry somehow, but I'm like literally like, oh my God, and it almost rips the camera out of my hand. Like, Jackson, come get me on the jet ski, and never did that again, ever, ever, ever. Horrible idea. Do not stand on rails while filming.
I will echo that because I had the exact same thing happen to me, but it ripped me off the rail. I was standing on a rail as we were moving it across the cable, and rope came around the corner.
Sketchy,
somebody popped
dude.
the handle,
It's sketchy.
Wrapped around my arm, pulled me off the rail, and luckily, like, it came right
But you
off.
didn't have, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
ripped my arm,
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah, just don't do that.
Don't
That's
do it.
It's very
such a bad idea.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I think
Oh
needs
my
to be.
God, I can't believe yeah.
And looking back, you're like, that's so stupid. I would never
So
do that
stupid.
again. But you don't realize how dangerous just the empty ropes are.
Yeah, I was
if you're
filming
standing.
Cam. That's what it was. Cam was trying to get a skate edit part, trying to get a skate part going.
Yeah.
It's going to be sick, but Publix got him.
Publix snatched him up, man.
Snatched him up.
Snatched him up. I say, I think actually, first off, camera setup. So you mentioned, you know, we talked about your board setup and stuff, but what are you filming with and shooting with?
So I'm all Sony now. I started with, you know, Nikon, a potato. Rodrigo Snaff talked about this. And
he sure did.
It was funny listening to him. Yeah. So I'm full Sony now. I have an A7 IV, and then I just got an FX30 for it's a cheaper option if you're looking for like a higher end camera that can do it all, pretty much 4K 120, 10-bit, all that. FX30 is a great option, but it's crop sensor, so I'm kind of getting tired of it. And I was thinking about, like, I got it kind of temporarily to wait until Sony drops or releases their new whatever FX32 or FX4 or something. I just wanted a little bit better, or like I wanted 4K 120 over the summer, so got that. I'll probably end up selling it soon and then buying like a FX3 or something, or whatever the new they come out with, full frame. But I'm a nerd. Yeah, right
that
over
went
your head.
right over my head.
I am so.
But there are camera nerds out there.
I'm such a nerd. I tell you what.
I feel like to be like into shooting video, you kind of have to be like a camera nerd.
I'm such a nerd. Like,
otherwise, you don't really. You're not.
If anyone else is a camera nerd and wants to talk, let me know.
Not me. I don't know anything about it. All right, so let's kind of, before we wrap this up, I want to preview like this upcoming season. Like, what do you?
Yeah.
I'm imagining you probably have a good bit of it planned out, event wise and stuff. Like, what's it looking like for you?
You would think, but these events don't like to tell you when the events are happening until like a month before.
That's wild.
So get your dates out, people, so I can tell you what's gonna. Well, no, I mean LEO's out now, so that's mid-May. So I'll be doing that one. I think. Oh yeah, Mash invitations went out, sort of, kind of. I'll be doing that one. Gonna be a good year. What?
I don't know. He's kind of sort of Mash invitation.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
All right. So we got two events locked in.
Two events.
Brostock. You're definitely gonna be at Brostock, right?
I hate to break it to you.
Don't tell me no. Don't say no.
Mash is the same weekend.
Ooh, this is tough. This is real tough.
I know.
That's tough.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that.
Well, it is what it is.
It
so
is
it doesn't
what
matter.
it is.
That does suck.
I know. It's so bad.
All right. Well, it happens. There's only so many weekends in a year.
I've never been to a Brostock because I'm just a youngin' and I missed all of them.
I haven't been to any of them.
Yeah, dude. Like, what the frick?
Well, I'm assuming if this one goes well, it'll happen again, which I have to
Hopefully,
imagine Brostock will go well. So.
Yeah, busy year. I think it's going to be a good year for sure. Trying to get a lot of content out this year, but in a good way. Hopefully. Yeah.
You gonna win every contest?
I don't know. I mean, I would be sick.
Okay. A lot of content, win all the contests. I mean, that sounds like a good year to me. So.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
It.
Anybody you want to thank, or sponsors, anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, huge thanks to my parents. Like, love my parents. They are so awesome, so supportive. They kind of let me do my thing, but like really supported me. They were never pushy unless they knew that I was capable of something or like wanted to do something, but needed some extra motivation or needed someone to push me. And yeah, they were there. Definitely my parents, my whole family, my sister, she's awesome. Yeah, my sponsors, Liquid Force, Follow, Unit. There's a new one on there, One Wake.
Hey.
One Wake is a shop. Now they're like they've got tons of locations, online store. They have everything you need to go have fun on the water. Go get your goods from One Wake. Yeah, like Terminus, everybody from Terminus, Chase, Jackson, Savannah, Casey, like all those people. You guys really, really gave me a good foundation and a place to kind of do this whole wakeboard thing. And yeah, thank you, Hunter.
Thank you
for having me on.
Absolutely.
This was fun.
Yeah, this was a blast.
We made it through.
We did. That was great. I had a blast. So yeah, thanks a ton for coming on. This was awesome.
I'm sure I'm forgetting so many people, but It's like
they're just not that
everyone-
important. It's okay.
No, everyone in Orlando for like taking me in, and yeah, I don't know.
Love it. No, that was good.
Stuff.
That was great.
That went by so fast.
Yeah,
Was
it
it
does.
fast?
Yeah. No, it was
Okay.
2 hours.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Wow.
so yeah, thanks a ton for coming on. I think it'd be a lot of fun to do like a shop talk in the future. So I'm sure
Yes.
we'll get Cena in here, you, get some other chicks,
Yes.
and
Meagan and all
talk
those.
wakeboarding. So yeah, thanks a ton for coming on. Thanks everyone for listening. If you guys are interested in supporting the podcast, joining the Patreon is the best way to do that. So thank you to everybody on there. And if you like the podcast, make sure to share it with somebody you think might like it.
Yes.
Besides that, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
See ya.